The power of pause. Mr. Roy was a man of remarkable energy and a mind that moved like lightning. In the busy offices of the city, he was known as a brilliant strategist who worked harder than anyone else, arriving before the sun and staying long after the stars appeared. However, Mr. Roy had a restless habit. He believed he knew the end of every sentence. The city council decided to build a magnificent new park, and they paired Mr. Roy with Elena, a lead engineer known for her precision. Elena arrived at their first meeting carrying a heavy roll of blueprints. She spread the massive paper across the table, showing the complex layers of the soil and the natural slope of the land. She wanted to explain how the earth moved, but Mr. Roy was already tapping his foot, his mind racing 3 steps ahead. To ensure the park stays dry during the heavy storm season, we must focus on the drainage, Elena began, but Mr. Roy cut her off immediately. Drainage is invisible, Elena. We need impact. I want marble fountains that reach the trees and neon lights that glow like a carnival. He grabbed a bright red marker and began sketching giant circles and stars directly over Elena's carefully drawn pipe symbols. Elena tried to speak again, but Roy's voice filled the room. The park was built exactly as Mr. Roy demanded. It was a forest of marble and light, and for 3 days, it was the talk of the city. But on the 4th day, the sky turned the color of an old bruise. A massive storm rolled in, dumping more rain than the city had seen in years. Mr. Roy stood at his office window, watching as the spectacle he had created began to disappear beneath a rising tide of murky water. By morning, the park was a disaster. The expensive neon lights were shorted out, and the marble fountains were half buried in thick gray mud. Elena was already there, wearing heavy rubber boots and a waterproof jacket. She didn't shout or point fingers. She simply stood by the edge of a new, unwanted lake. Roy walked up to her, his polished shoes sinking into the sludge. He realized his lightning-fast mind had struck the wrong target. Feeling the weight of his mistake, Mr. Roy went to see Shravan, a senior colleague known as the wisest man in the company. Shravan was the opposite of Roy. He was a man of long silences. "I didn't listen," Roy admitted. Shravan nodded and offered a simple tool. "The 5-second pause," Shravan said. "When someone stops talking, count to 5 in your head before you say a word. It gives their thoughts room to land and your mind room to think." For the next week, Mr. Roy practiced the rule everywhere. In the elevator, in the cafeteria, and in his office, he kept his lips pressed together. Every time he felt the urge to jump in and finish a sentence, he saw Shravan's calm face and started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He discovered that in those 5 seconds, people often added a final, important detail they were originally too nervous to say. Roy went back to Elena. This time, when she opened her blueprints, he kept his markers in his pocket. She explained the need for deep gravel beds and a network of hidden pipes. Roy felt the old impulse to interrupt with a joke, but he paused. He counted to 5. In that silence, he actually saw the logic of the water's path. Elena noticed the change. For the first time, she smiled, feeling that her expertise was finally being respected. The park was rebuilt with Elena's drainage system as the foundation. When the next great storm hit, the city prepared for the worst, but the park remained perfect. The water vanished into the ground exactly where Elena had planned. Roy stood in the rain with Elena, both under a large, sturdy umbrella. He wasn't talking about his grand vision anymore. He was simply listening to the rhythmic, satisfying sound of the water flowing through the pipes. As you grow older, you will find that everyone has a story to tell or a plan to share. Like Mr. Roy, you might think you already know the ending, but the best parts are often found in the words you haven't heard yet. Whether you are talking to a friend like Amara or working on a big project, remember the 5-second pause. When we stop talking, we start learning. After all, patience is the highest form of respect.